Hey guys, time to talk about Downton Abbey. All right, so this episode was really about who is going to win the heart of Lady Mary. She really has three suitors right now. Gillingham is pretty much already taken, but he just won't let himself be taken. And then we have this other gentleman who we were introduced to a couple episodes who brought over Charles Blake. And now Charles Blake has been totally snooty with Mary, but in this episode, it was all about the pigs and how are they going to save the pigs from dehydration. And Lady Mary gets into the pig pen and runs around and gets all into the dirt and they save the pigs. And of course, this just puts a huge smile on Blake's face. They bond over eggs and wine. It was some harmless flirting, but clearly this is a check for Blake. And so right now, Lady Mary knows that she's kind of got these three gentlemen who are wanting her. And is she really ready? Is she over her husband? Not quite. But I'm sure by the end of this season, she will be. Then we had Lady Rose, who once again went off to London so that she could see her Jack Ross. And, these two are having like this torrid affair. He's black, she's white, he's a jazz musician, she's white, he's black, she's white. Like, hello, come on. This is not going to go anywhere, or not anywhere that's we're going to, we don't already see coming. So he takes her on this like lovely canoe ride down this canal and they end up under this bridge and then she's like, kiss me, and he does, but he's like, hello, let's have a reality check. Is this really going to go anywhere? And she's like, I don't really care what anybody thinks. I like you, you like me. Take me out tomorrow night and let's dance the night away. And so, she's basically being a rebel at this point and she's doing whatever her heart wants. And that's nice and that's cute. But at the end of the day, is it really going to go anywhere, I should say? Probably not. Then we had Lady Edith, who unfortunately we found out I don't want to say unfortunately because it's not unfortunate, but she finds out last episode that she's pregnant. But unfortunately, her lover Michael has gone missing and nobody knows where he is, nobody knows what has happened to him, and so she contemplates having an abortion. Of course she won't say it out loud, but she goes and to London to have this procedure done, and then right at the last minute she walks out of the clinic and decides that she's not going to go forward with this and that she's obviously going to keep the baby. She's going to have to tell her mother, she's going to have to become the talk of the town, she's going to be ashamed, but she doesn't want to abort her child. So, it's some tough subject matter we've had to deal with this season. But I guess they're basically just trying to hit all of the major issues all at once. So we have the race issue, now we have an abortion issue, and then that leads us to the rape issue, which is obviously an ongoing thing that's been happening with Anna and John Bates. And they're definitely doing much better this episode. Leading up to this point. But in this episode, Robert has to go to America. And of course, John Bates is his valet, is what they call them. And, Mrs. Hughes basically goes and asks Lady Mary if they can try to get somebody else. And of course, Hughes doesn't want to say why, but Lady Mary's like, well, if you want my help, you need to tell me what's going on. So of course Hughes, who seems to not be able to keep a secret, basically tells Lady Mary what happened to Anna. So Mary goes to her father and begs him to not take John as his valet so that he can stay there with Anna. So he does. Now the secret is starting to go above the basement and upstairs. And so some people are starting to know. And of course, this is going to obviously rear its ugly head sooner than later. And when Gillingham comes to town to visit Mary again, who does she come with? Her valet, who is Nasty Green, who did the horrible thing to Anna. So this whole time, of course, Hughes and Anna have been lying about who actually raped Anna. And they said it was a stranger who came in and broke in the night and did this horrific thing. And of course, John doesn't really believe it, but he's basically said he's not going to rest until he figures out who did this. And so is sitting at the table because of course he's just so inappropriate. He comes and sits down and he just thinks that he can just be anywhere. And I love when Hughes basically rips a strip off of him and she basically says, I know who you are, I know what you're all about. And she's like, wipe that grin off your face, you're a disgusting human being, and like basically if I could rip your head off, I would. It was great. I love Mrs. Hughes. She basically calls it like she sees it, and she's like, the jig is up. We all know what you did and who you are. So at the end, he basically sits down at this table where they all have their dinner and stuff like that, and they're reminiscing about the night when the lady came to sing, I believe it was opera music, and he was basically talking about how horrible the music was and how he didn't like it. And so they were all like, oh, well, what did you do, where did you go? And he goes, oh, I came downstairs while she was singing. And so of course, ding 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 ding, in John's head, put two and two together, that obviously means that Green was downstairs when Anna was raped, which means that Green is the one who did it. And, you can see Bates just sitting at the table, like stewing, and he's looking at him and he's giving them this evil eye. And it's like, oh boy, next episode is not going to be good. But, it's nice that the secret's going to come out, and like Green hopefully can get his face pummeled in because he's disgusting. But it'll be interesting to see who actually brings it up and how it actually gets handled, because obviously we know if Bates does anything about this, he could go back to prison and it would be just horrible all around. So all in all, episode was, was pretty good. No huge bombs going off, but that's usually how Downton Abbey is. They always seem to wait for the Christmas episode before somebody dies or something horrific happens. So I think we only have one episode left. And then we get to the Christmas episode. So hopefully next episode will end with a really big bang, and it'll end the fourth series, which is what they call it in the UK, off on a very high note. So again, a pretty decent episode, but let's see if they spice it up in the next coming week. All right, guys, that's my review of Downton Abbey. Bye.